to shine. Give 'em what you got, baby. Time to show them you are. It's time to shine. Gotta give 'em what you got. Gotta show 'em you
Welcome, y'all, to the Six Chicks podcast, where we bring you curated, authentic, Christ centered realness every week. Like every week. Listen, we are so excited to conclude our Womanhood series. Today, we are talking about purpose. And as you know, last week we were talking about self care and self love. And it is just so befitting for us to kind of dive into purpose and exactly why we exist. I know for me, when I was navigating through my 20s, my 30s, that I really was in search for identifying why I was here and really honing in on what that looked like and what would I be doing. And I had all kind of questions. So I'm so excited about tonight so we can kind of dive into our purpose, about why we exist and the different things that we like to do and what we love to do and what we're called to do. It's just so many layers in this topic. I'm just hoping and praying that we can get through it all because we have so much to share. So let's just go ahead and just kick it off, guys. Like, do you feel like you have identified your true purpose? And how do you believe you got there?
Okay. So yes, I do believe I figured out my true purpose. For me, people know that I have been in education. It kind of runs through the family, and has my grandmother was a educator, my mom, other family members, and so it just that was something, that natural aspect of me is something that came very easily. And then the other part of me is just the spiritual aspect of just part of my purpose is helping people find their purpose. So, and I came to that by just constantly seeing that pattern happening with people around me. Because I can see people. It's beyond just the natural. And so and I know people are like, what does that mean? I don't know. I can see beyond, I can see your future. And I'm not a fortune teller. Let's make that crystal clear, or a psychic. Just one,
Period.
no shade, but that's not what I am. But, uh, well, slight shade. But anyway, but yeah, so, I just started seeing that pattern with myself. And it goes really well with being an educator because you're working with students all the time. And so
Mhm.
you can kind of see their strengths and where they're going. So just experience and seeing patterns. That's how I figured that out.
I love that.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah, I feel like I'm in the process right now of really figuring out exactly what that is. At my age, I do, feel like I have some strengths and some things that I'm more leaning towards. Like I feel like I'm more focused on doing something in the entertainment lane and industry. And so I do feel like I'm called to that area. And so with me doing more creative things now, it's allowing me to explore that lane a little bit more, but I still feel like I'm still finding that because I'm kind of in this balance between, something in the entertainment lane, but then also um some type of change agent or like helping communities and being more involved in communities and more involved in like the empowerment of my people. And so I'm just trying to figure out now how those two things mesh together and how they
Mhm.
will mesh together, because those are two things that I'm very passionate about. So
It's crazy with me. I feel like it took me quite a while to figure out what my purpose was. But in hindsight, I'm like, it actually didn't, because I feel like everybody goes through really like their 20s and really trying to figure out what it is. So I feel like I'm not as behind as I had thought at one point. But with me, I'm a product of Angela's help, the admin. So in the beginning, I really just didn't know what I wanted to do. I had so many different lanes. I loved songwriting. I loved singing. I loved serving people. It was so many different lanes. And I just didn't really have an idea of where I wanted to go with it. And then through just really communication with my friends and just talking, we just kind of honed it down into I love serving people and I love seniors and I love songwriting and I love singing. So really all of my purposes grew out of those, the things that I love to do, the things that I was good at, the things that I always thought about. And now it's to the point to where, yep, I know exactly what I want to do. And now I'm kind of walking those paths to actually get to the real goal and the end game of them.
That's awesome, Vic.
Thanks, Ange.
Mhm.
That is
Yeah.
really awesome. Oh, go ahead, Courtney. Go.
Okay.
Okay.
So for me, thinking about purpose, I had to chew on this for a minute, which seems odd because I feel like the obvious answer for me is artist for sure. And that still is a part of my purpose. But I'm also thinking about now, like versus before when I was younger. I'm 36 now, but art has just always been there. And I didn't take it as like a life path until probably I graduated high school. But again, it's always just been there. So it's just kind of been a thing. But like older, I'm thinking about purpose as finding like the act or the process of finding purpose as the work, as the life's work. So thinking about like now I'm still an artist wherever I'm at or whatever career I'm in or job I'm taking, but there's always some type of space where I have to like push creatively to, I don't know, pursue something, be it how I teach something or how I present something. There's always been like some type of turn in the path to where I have to like readjust myself. And so I don't know, as far for me, I just feel like that's just been me getting new insight on just life, period, about just how like it's always like a process. It's not, for me, it's not a conclusive point. There's always like those like art skills and other things that are in my life that are just like kind of constants, but it's always some type of flux with how those things are applied. So that's, when I think about purpose, it's way more broader than when I was younger. And now it's just me trying to make myself more comfortable with that of like, I have that finite answer, but now I know that it's more flux in that than just that, just those items of like the types of things I do that are connected to my purpose.
That's so good because when you were talking, like it's so crazy because when you grow up, like they tell you, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And they expect for you to say one thing, one role, right? And like the more that you mature and you grow, you're like, I'm multifaceted. So where do I land? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do I do? But what I've learned for me is that through every like career path, through every space, I've been picking up skill sets and tools and things that I need for the bigger picture, whatever that picture may be when I get there.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, and that pressure of what is your purpose? What are you supposed to do? What is the one thing? Hey, it's more than one thing.
Oh my God, Tiffany. You are, listen, exactly, Ife, that's how I feel. The fan her because everything you're saying is so true. And when you get caught up in this one thing and you're not where you think you should be and all that, you legit are like screwing up your life. Because when you get to the places that you're going, everything you did before will make sense. So if you just get that when you 20, oh, you won't care about nothing. You just go. Like, as long as you're going forward and trying to do your best, you know what I'm saying? Heck, sometimes when you're not trying to do your best, you're going to use it all. Every single aspect of it. It will make perfect sense. Because as we get older, it just is making more and more sense to me. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes life so much easier knowing that. So
Yes.
much easier knowing
Yeah.
that. Because it's just like you're no longer in a box. You are, you're no longer that one vein. It's like you can just travel. You can go down the highway and you can get off at that exit if you'd like, or you can get off at that street because you're always going to be getting right back on and just keep going. So it makes it so much easier.
Absolutely. That's very true. And it's so true that, you know, even growing up, what you're saying, just using everything and seeing how everything plays a part. I was just having this conversation of, and Angela knows, and I'm saying that because she's been there since the beginning. I'm just like, I don't know what I'm called to do. I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what my gifts are, my talents. I just don't see anything. And for years, for years, for years. But looking back, it was always that question, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I always wanted to be a doctor. So all through school, high school, even into college, it was like, okay, medicine is the field I'm going to go into. Nursing is the field, but was not successful at all. And then, I just found something to do, and it wasn't really where I was supposed to be, but it's like, okay, this works for now. And so now looking back, I see in my childhood, I always said I wanted to be a doctor, but I was always the teacher. I was always the one. I had a chalkboard in my room. I saved all my worksheets from school. I bought workbooks. When I was a little girl, I was teaching my stuffed animals all the time, which, it's like, why? So, but I never saw myself as a teacher because, and Angela told me when I was 19, you ought to teach. I was like, girl, I don't want to be a teacher. Teach kids? I don't want to do that. Like, that just didn't make sense to me. Now I'm a homeschooler, which is retarded in itself. But even within that, just seeing those things and still not connecting it. But once I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease with multiple sclerosis, then I start getting more into health and what can make me better and what caused this, and just finding that I'm absolutely passionate about health. Like, that's what I think about, that's what I read about, that's what I talk about. Everyone who knows me can tell you that without a shadow of doubt. Like, if they say my name, that's what goes along with my name, is health, wellness. So looking back on it now, I'm like, that makes sense. I love teaching people about health and wellness. So teacher, I also love the human body. So it just all makes sense. And it took me years to discover that, but through life experiences, that's how that came about. And slowly but surely, and I don't believe that that's all of it, but it's the start of it. So I will see where that leads. I have no idea at this point, and that's okay. As long as I know I'm on the right path and I'm just working on what I'm passionate about, because that's what keeps me going.
Yeah. I think it's so awesome too, Lisa, that you're saying like just being on the right path. And I think that's really important because a lot of times in life, like, we really look at our situations as getting to a destination. Right. And it's like, there is no destination. It just continues because, it's like, oh, when I get this job, I'm going to be good. It's like, okay, you get the job, then what? You're going to be looking for something. Exactly. You're going to be looking for something else, And so it's, in that journey of finding our purpose per se, it is like, it's the journey that is the purpose, It's amazing when you really think about it. It just, it makes, like Vic said, it makes life easier.
Y'all,
Good.
y'all are journey. That's
It's so good.
Man,
It's so good.
For real.
It's like it's like your purpose is like unfolding as you grow and evolve. Like Lisa mentioned how she thought, okay, I'm going to be a doctor, but you probably thought that because at that age, that was the scope of your perspective.
That part.
And as you continue to evolve and grow, now it's like, oh no, I'm a wellness doctor. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I just love that. Like, because I can remember growing up, I would be in the bathtub and I would like do speeches in the tub.
What?
No, like, and I just thought about that when Lisa was talking. Like, I used to do speeches about different things in the bathtub at one of my aunt's house, and they would listen to me from the bedroom.
What was it about the bathtub? Was it the echo?
I mean, it must have been the echo. I don't
Yes,
know
the
what it was.
acoustics. That's adorable. I love that.
I know.
So let me ask y'all this question about your childhood. What is one?
Before you ask it, I'm just gonna say I can see you in the bathtub.
Going hard.
Me. I can see you in the bathtub.
Exactly.
Going hard.
Going in.
Going in.
All the way in.
That's all I want to say. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hey, I was going all the way in. Okay. Like I can legit picture myself in the like it's crazy. It's crazy.
Man,
You know,
that's
just
funny.
about what we do when we're younger that turns into something so amazing when we're older. And I mean, Vic said it, like it just makes life easier when you take the weight off and just say, hey, I'm on the path. So let me just
Yes.
mosey along on this journey and enjoy every moment of it because I know that I'm going somewhere and I don't have to know exactly where. I'm just on the path. You know what I'm saying? But
real.
seriously, can you all think of a childhood moment? Lisa talked about hers already that directly aligns with your purpose or where you're headed. Like, if so, let's share real quick.
Oh, Courtney got one. She up there
Yeah.
like, yep.
Yep, I got one. Got a few, but I'll just give one. I used to, y'all remember those crayons, but they weren't crayons. They like you could smear them, but they would get on everything. I don't know if y'all remember those. So I would make pictures. Yeah, I would make pictures on just some plain paper with that. And then I would cover it with saran wrap and tape the back of it. And I would sell them to my mama's coworkers. She would sell, I'm like, here you go. I don't remember. I had to ask her. I was elementary school, so I was a young kid. My mom, they had a really good, close crew at work. But yeah, that's like one like distant memory. I remember selling them boys maybe 25 cents, 50 cents, something like that. But I was doing it. They was paying for it. Yeah, it was great times. But yeah, that's my immediate memory as a kid.
So funny.
That is hilarious, Courtney. It's funny. I of course did all the lines, the dials up, boards, the just everything Lisa said. I did it. You know what I'm saying? Have my dials lined up. People kind of know I do hair. I was burning my Cabbage Patch hair out with a real curler. With a real curler, y'all, because that's my other professional people say that I have. But you know, with the chalkboard, everything, all of that stuff. Workbooks, was addicted to workbooks. Y'all all know that. But the other part of me is that I am a businesswoman, and the Lord showed me that and told me that. Like I was at a church service, I remember where I was at. He was like, "You're a businesswoman. You have all these businesses in your mind." And I thought that everyone was like that. You know what I'm saying? And so then he's like, "No, you're a businesswoman. That's why you have all these business ideas in your mind." And because I was living out my life in a different way, I didn't consider that to completely be true because I didn't have a business. But when I take myself back, when I was a child, I had my lemonade stand, y'all. I was always trying to sell stuff. I was doing people hair and nails. Come at me. I got you. You know what I'm saying? I was selling that Kool-Aid in a bag. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh, I did that too. Ooh. I did that too. Yes. I was wrapping gifts for the family that was paying me. I was just I keep going. Yeah.
Yes. And so it's like, and then I remember one time I wrote Angela's business on the outside of my door to my bedroom, and I spelled business wrong. It's gonna be funny if my brother listens to this. It's gonna be funny if my brother listens to this. He came up there. You don't even know how to spell business.
Hey,
no love. Dang.
Hateration, you know what I'm saying? But it's like I can trace that back. Now that I'm moving in those directions, it's just like it was always there. It was always there.
Yeah. I just think about me personally, like, I mean, I stay watching BT, MTV, not movies, but like music videos. I will watch that all day long. I learned pretty much every song, and I used to be dancing and singing to pretty much everything from a very, very young age, stuff that I shouldn't even known. I knew all the words too. So I think about that. And then also,
I'm like exposure.
exactly. I think about too, being in the 8th and 9th grade and like writing stories. And I remember I wrote like a book, and it had to be about like 50 pages at least of like a teen drama. It was like one of those, like teen drama, real saucy with it or whatever. But it was good. I had the girls reading it,
Who's doing that? Who's doing that?
It was crazy. It was good. Like, I'm still like, it was good.
Pull it out.
That's dope.
But oh my God, I would probably flip right now if I read that stuff. I would be like, oh my God, what was I talking about? But yeah, so I think those are like the earliest moments, of like doing things that were close to what I think I'm supposed to be doing now. So it was interesting, funny.
So with me, as soon as you said that, Tiffany, I immediately went back to like 6th grade Catholic school Sunday mass. And I don't know why during that time, but I felt like I could only sing Silent Night. And I would sing all the time. Like, it's so we'd be in mass. Like, they would probably be singing some other random song, and my Aunt Bev was standing next to me, and I would be slowly under my mouth singing Silent Night, because that was just my favorite song. I felt like I sounded amazing singing it, like the runs and everything. Silent Night doesn't have many runs, but I made them, a lot of like, and they're singing some other song, but it was like every single Sunday, and then Fridays we had service, for school. So every single Sunday and Friday, somehow I would slip a Silent Night in there and just be singing it with all of my heart. Because again, I just felt like that was like the only song I could sing, and I just felt like I just needed to sing it before the Lord. Like, he had to hear the song every single Friday and Sunday. It was very imperative.
Beautiful. You like, I'm singing my song. I'm gonna sing. So y'all better get where I'm at.
I'm laughing. I have never forgot that.
I just keep thinking of it being like July 4th or something. Keep it over here.
Hands raised. This is a Catholic church. Catholic church, y'all. Hands raised.
Worshiping.
Oh my goodness.
That was good.
This is so good. This is so good. And I'm so glad that we took this turn, because listen, finding your purpose, figuring out why you're here should be light. It should be fun. It should be, in a space where you can explore. It shouldn't be the pressure of, I have to be perfect. I have to be like the girl that I see on social media. Your life doesn't have to match and align with anyone else's. And so that's what really this moment is about, is that you taking the pressure off and giving in to your passions, the things that you love to do, the things that you can't stop thinking about, the things that you did when you were a little kid, like just getting back to the basics, y'all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me say this. So I'm 43, and it is never too late to finally figure it out. It's never too late, ever. It's like, there are some things that I just realized that I am really supposed to do. And it's like, okay, I'm right on time because I just figured it out. So because I just figured it out, I'm right on time. I'm good. I'm good. So it is period. So don't worry about it. You don't have to figure it out. Trust and believe. Just text us. We want to hear from you. Trust me. They all of these women helped me. So trust me, we will help you.
Amen.
And Vic, I'm gonna join you with Silent Night. I'm gonna join you because that's the only song I could ever play on the piano.
Oh, there it is.
We got it.
There it
That's
is.
funny. That's funny.
That is hilarious. Exactly, Ife. Exactly. So, as we conclude this conversation, we've talked about a lot of things and we've already given a lot of good pointers. But if someone is just beginning to identify or start their journey on the road to purpose, what would you tell them? What would be your advice to them? Let's make it short and quick and sweet.
Well, I'll
I would
start.
just say, oh,
I
okay,
already
go ahead.
said it, though. I already said it.
I was about
It
to
is
say, you
never
just.
too late.
Mhm,
It is never too late.
Yeah, that's it.
mhm. That's why I was laughing at you because I low key knew she was about to ask us this question. I was like, she giving advice.
Which is perfect.
Which is fine. Right on time, right in tune. I would just say, just have grace with yourself. Just give yourself some grace and stop and adopt the attitude of delayed gratification if you can. That's a very serious thing. Like if you can understand that this microwave society is so not what God has for us. It's not a microwave society. And the society is pushing us along. And that's why people are having problems now because they think they should be further along than they are. So just give yourself grace on the journey. Short and sweet.
The journey is the purpose. Okay, that's what I'm gonna leave it at that.
That part.
And I definitely say be patient with yourself because God is not going to show you everything at one time. It's going to unravel slowly. So just, what Angela was saying, just have grace for yourself, be patient and know that God will show it. He will reveal it in time. So one day at a time, one step at a time, one thought at a time, journal everything and remember, reflect.
Ooh,
That's
yes.
good.
Reflect.
That's good.
Yeah, I just 3 words: pray, listen, and work.
There it is.
Period. As Tiff would say.
And that is that on that.
I am here for it. Listen, this has been a phenomenal episode, y'all. Like, I'm kind of sad that we're closing out this Womanhood series, but I have a feeling it's going to be back. But this has been really, really good. I think we'll probably dive into part 2 at some point along the journey, but keep it light, keep it tight, and keep it right. Okay, that's all I got.
Yes, Tiffany.
Okay, girl.
That's all I got. That's all I got.
Sit in there, lab.
So, listen, we know that y'all want to stay connected. So, Ife, let the people know what they need to do.
Yes, ma'am. So thank you so much for joining us on this episode of The Six Chicks. We are so glad you tuned in. Make sure that you catch up with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Six Chicks. And then you go follow and subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is The Six Chicks Podcast. Okay. Make sure you download this episode and all of the other episodes on your preferred streaming service, and you make sure you catch us next time where we're going to be talking about romantic relationships. Oh, the tea is hot.
The tea is hot.
It's hot, okay? So we love to see it, all right? We'll see y'all next time.
It's time to shine.